Welcome to That's Based. It's Saturday, not happy Saturday. I'm your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore, reporting from somewhere underground, live 365 on Chris Baker Radio, along with our friends at Outlaw Streamers. Shout out to our sponsors, drinkbloodofTyrants.com with the promo code BASED, BASED, like the title of the show. You'll save 10% off your order at the checkout. DrinkbloodofTyrants. I feel weird trying to make money on this episode. Take it off. All right, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I had a fun show planned. Stockholm Mia, the red-faced white supremacy, is here with us. As always, I'm not gonna ask her how she's doing. I had a fun show planned today. I really did. We were gonna talk. Well, it wasn't all gonna be fun. There was gonna be some serious stuff. Well, we were gonna talk about that crazy lady at the Phillies game. We were gonna talk about the women that said that Joe Rogan makes it like 60% less likely for them to date a man if he listens to his podcast. We're going to talk about Trump's goofy little Epstein letter that I don't know what that. We were going to talk about a woman in California that registered her dog to vote. We were going to talk about, I'm looking at the list right here. This is what's been stolen from you today. We were going to talk about alcohol consumption is at a permanent decline. We were going to talk about some information that I have received from an anonymous source that's very, very good at doing his or her homework, that sent us some stuff on our good buddy Dark Money Dan Osborne. We're not going to talk about any of that today, though. I'm drinking beer on the air because all that kind of went down the toilet. It went down the toilet because I'm gonna spell it out to you guys, man. There ain't no other way to put this. We're at war. Take us into the trending, the first one. We're at war. There's no way around it. There's no way around the fact that we are at a spiritual war with literal demons from hell. And I'm not just talking about the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. I don't need to tell you at this point what happened. If you're listening to this show, you know what happened. If you don't, go on Wikipedia or something, man. I don't fucking know. I'm not just talking about the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. We're pre-taping this. So they may have found him by now, but as of this taping, they have not. I'm talking about the people that have celebrated this. I'm talking about the people that have gone on his wife's Instagram account and left comments like this one. Pull this second image up there. Now your children have no father, with 15 laughing emojis. Don't ever let me catch you in the streets. Don't ever let me catch whoever wrote that in the streets. Don't ever let me catch any of the people in my Facebook comments in the streets, bro. Like right now, we got a problem, and I'm trying to restrain myself. I'm not in a good mood. You can tell by my monotone voice. I'm not yelling. I'm not joking around, because this is not a joking matter. This is the fact that we have two sides of the country.
Not a joke.
I can hate you.
I was debating on whether or not
You know what?
use sound effects.
Be
today.
liberal with the sound effects, because we're gonna need comedic effect, and I don't know if I can carry that today. I'm gonna be honest with you. And it's tragic that Charlie Kirk got shot. It is. But what's equally as tragic to me is that it's become abundantly clear that there's two sides of this country, and it's not split among political lines or racial lines or religion or gender or anything like that. We've got two sides of this country, one that values human life and one that actively cheers when the lives of people they don't like are taken. One that defends the actions of the killers when the life of someone that they don't like is taken. And that person doesn't have to be a rapist or a pedophile or a murderer that gets killed. That can just be some guy that has an opinion they don't like. And that's where we're at. And I'm going to be honest with you. Since I've been doing, how long have I been doing this show? 3 years? 4 years? 3 years? I've gotten more physical threats against me than I can count since I've started doing this show. And I'm nobody. That's how unhinged these people are. More physical threats to kill me. I've had a guy threaten to rape me. Not my wife, me. I've had people threaten to dox my address. All kinds of things. I'm small fry. I've never threatened anybody. In fact, I have come on the air multiple times and told people on my own side when nobody else was doing it. You can go back and check the tapes. I have told people to turn the temperature down. It does us no good to dehumanize people, and it just makes things worse. Eventually, someone's got to be the one to turn the other cheek and walk away. But I fear that line's been crossed now. There's no going back. I've been on the side of, look, I'm a comedian. I say shocking shit. But I have been on the side of, please, everyone, just calm down. More times than I can count. And I've still gotten death threats. Now, how many of these people are going to follow through on it versus how many are basement-dwelling losers? I don't know. I just always assume they were pussies because people that are going to threaten you on the internet probably aren't going to follow through on it. It's the quiet ones you got to worry about. But now I don't know. Now I worry because I come on here a couple times a week and I go on the radio and on podcasts and I talk and I say controversial things that people may not agree with, talk about hot button issues. I have takes that a lot of people don't on both sides of the aisle, and I get threatened for it. And then at the end of the week, I go on a stage where everyone knows I'm going to be point blank with no security. So yeah, it does bother me a little bit, and it makes me a little fucking emotional when I talk about it. But I think this also displays the importance of it, because if we back down to evil now and we hide, they win. You know? Here's what I'm not going to do. Here's what I'm done doing. I'm done playing patty cake with these people. I'm done. I'm not going to come on here to call for unity. I will no longer make peace with evil. Why should I call for unity? Why should we want to be united with these people? Why? As long as these people are continuing to dehumanize us, we have no reason to be united with them. We shouldn't want to. If you're a parent with a kid that's like tried to strangle the dog and threw his younger sibling in the pool, you send that kid off to a mental institution. You don't try to unify your house. You do what's right for everyone else in the house, and you protect them and you get them the hell out. Why should I want to be united with these lunatics until they show some type of remorse for this, until they show that they're capable of humanity? And it's not all Democrats. When I talk about the leftists and the Marxists, we're not talking about all Democrats. I want to make that clear. We're not talking about all Kamala Harris voters. Your great aunt that's been a registered Democrat since 1972 and vote and checked a different box than you is not the person I'm referring to here. I'm referring to a specific type of ghoul that has been so bought into this propaganda to the point where they don't see anyone who has the wrong letter next to their name as a human being. They see you as a cockroach that needs to be exterminated. Make no mistake, these people would kill every last one of us if they had the chance to do it. Arise, O Lord, deliver me, my God, strike all my enemies on the jaw, break the teeth of the wicked. I don't think I've ever quoted scripture on this show before, but that's the attitude toward these people going forward. We will no longer make peace with evil. I'll never, ever encourage anyone to commit an act of violence, ever. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell you to play nice with them. I'm not going to sit here and go, now, they're fellow Americans too. Now, fuck them. The time for this slack-jawed, jellyfish, libertarian belief that these people have the same rights as us is over.
Bunch of slack-jawed faggots around here.
That's done, man. That's over. If you want me dead, I want your rights trampled on. It's no longer don't tread on me. It's about self-preservation at this point. You have made it clear through your words and actions. This is not me drawing conclusions like you saying misgendering is violence. This is you outright celebrating violent acts and calling for more. If that's you, I want you in prison. You get no free speech. You get no right to vote. You go away. I don't care where they send you, to be honest. You're gone, though. Trying to hold hands with evil has gotten us here. Trying to tiptoe the line of fighting for what we believe in while still playing nice gets people killed. It's time for President Trump to become the President Trump that the left warned us he was going to be. No more of this Mitt Romney and a spray tan bullshit. No more. Go all out. Find a way to fuck these people over so they can't vote anymore. I don't care what you got to do. Throw bullshit felonies at everyone who laughed about this, everyone who encouraged it, everyone who celebrated it. Throw bullshit felonies at them. Take away all their rights to vote. They're an existential threat to this country. They called us threats to democracy. Every accusation from these people is a confession. Take away their right to vote. Take the DOJ and do what Biden did to you. Go out and ruin the life, financially and professionally, of every high-level Democrat in the country. Terrorize them until they just say fuck it and move. Ban the transgenders from owning guns. I don't fucking care anymore, dude. I was going to come on here and say I think Trump's going too far with this. Changed my mind. Had a little catalyst there. Come to Jesus moment, if you will. I don't fucking care anymore. It don't matter anymore, dude. Everything's changed, bro. And I know there's going to be these idiots that sit on here. It's the Jews. It's not the Jews, bro. It's the laziest fucking excuse to sit here and blame the Jews for everything. I just lost half our viewers. It's the laziest excuse to sit here and blame the Jews for everything. It's not the Jews. Half the fucking country, not half, 30% of the fucking country hates you. It's got nothing to do with the guy that wears the little white hat and goes to the synagogue and eats a bagel. That was racist. And you could say, and of course they'll just move the goalpost. I'm not here. Listen, you want that shit, go to Nick Fuentes' show. Look, there's good Jews, there's bad Jews, just like anybody else. I'm not going to sit here and play that conspiracy bullshit game. All roads lead back to Israel. It's annoying. You know I'm not a fan of Israel. You know I don't think we should be funding them. But to sit here and blame them for everything and deflect the blame that should be going on to the fucking demons from hell that we share this country with pisses me off. We got our own problems here. I don't give a shit about Israel. You got political violence in the streets, and your first thing is Israel. You're the Israel first types, just the reverse. You're not like Randy Fine and Lindsey Graham. You think about Israel first in terms of hating them. Everything's got to go back to Israel. You can't even look in our own attic and see what the hell we got going on here. The call is coming from inside the house, and it ain't Jewish. It's coming from inside the house, not the synagogue down the street. These people have no God but the almighty state, but Marxism. These people worship their hatred for you and your family. This isn't a Jewish or Muslim or Christian or anything thing. These people are secular fucking lunatics. And the government needs to start taking their rights away because it's the only way to keep the rest of us safe. Well, I told you. How long ago did I go to that No Kings rally with Rightshare? How long ago was I at that?
It was a few months ago.
It was right around the 4th of July, wasn't it?
I think so. I have no idea.
I just remember you were telling me to be careful, and I kind of laughed about it, and now I get it. We had man on the street stuff planned. That's off. We're not doing that. I love doing the show for you guys. I'm not going to stop. I love promoting and everything like that. I'm not taking a bullet for some YouTube clicks. We're not doing that. Not right now. It's got to cool down a little bit. But when we went to that No Kings rally, I told you when I did my recap of it, I said it has become abundantly clear that the Democrat Party and the left has let the lunatic fringe take over. It's no longer the lunatic fringe, it's the lunatic base. This is the majority of their, maybe not the majority, but it's enough of their party that they've lost control of it. 55% of Democrats polled said they think it would be a good thing if somebody shot Donald Trump. 55%, over half of their party, thinks political violence is justified as long as it's against the right person. I remember Republicans who thought Obama was the Antichrist that never would have said that. Never would have said that. And those people were nuts too. Here's the thing, though. 55% of Democrats that were polled thought it would be justified to shoot, said they thought it would be justified to shoot Donald Trump. That's the 55% that's willing to admit to it over a recorded line. These people have no shame. They see no consequences in what they do. That's what makes psychopaths so delusional or so dangerous. It's because they don't think there's going to be consequences if they hack that woman and her baby up. They're crazy. That's the problem. Once upon a time, not too long ago, where I'm from, you would be absolutely terrified to even whisper in a field by yourself that you think someone should shoot the president. Now they admit to it on recorded lines where their names and information are sent back and processed in a data center because they don't see anything wrong with it. This is the type of psychopathy we're up against right now. This is how dangerous these people are. These are people that want violence and they don't see any consequences they don't think there's going to be consequences for their actions. And many of them have nothing to lose. I've always told you, we're not going to have a civil war in this country as long as things are convenient for people. A lot of these people on the left are single, childless. If they have a job, it's a shitty one. They rent, they own nothing, and they don't like it all that much, as it turns out, World Economic Forum. People who are violent, have nothing to lose, and see no negative consequences for their actions. That's a very, very, very dangerous combination. That is a fucking powder keg, and we are right smack dab in the middle of it. Monsters that we're dealing with. Monsters. And people on the right need to wake up. I tried to tell you this a while ago. Some of you listened, some of you didn't. The infighting has to stop. It does. I don't care who your county chair is that did somebody over a couple years ago so you don't trust her. And we got to work together to undermine our local communications director for our Republican. No, we're done. That's done. That's done. We can fight over clout and glamour roles later. I don't care who's more pro-life than who. I don't care if you're pro-tariff or anti-tariff. I don't care how you feel about Israel. I don't care that you want mental health checks on guns and the other guy died. None of it matters anymore. None of it matters. We share a common enemy, and that common enemy are literal demons from hell. If we can't... Ronald Reagan had a speech during the Cold War about how if America or if the world faced an existential threat from an invading alien force, then maybe we'd all come together. This is it right now. This is our alien force. The literal demons from hell have infiltrated our country, and we are at war for the soul of it. These are people that tried to kill our president. These are people that targeted children in church. These are people that sit off in the distance and shoot at people for having the wrong opinion. They're going to target all of us. It's only a matter of time. We have to take this country back, and we have to wield this political power and make sure that these people can never get control of it. I'm not going to play the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot. I'm not. I think it's been played enough. I have absolutely no desire to see it again. I saw it from the angle on the hill, and I thought he got shot in the stomach, and I'm like, well, that's not good, but he'll probably pull through. And then I zoomed in, and I said out loud, oh my God, that was a throat shot. And people don't get shot in the throat and live very often, guys. That was when I saw the video that TMZ posted that was like 200 feet away. Then I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw an angle that most of you probably saw, and I really, really wish I didn't see it. That was something I could have gone my whole life without seeing. And I knew right there he was dead. We're not going to play it. It's not, it's totally inappropriate. There's a lot of social media accounts on Twitter, especially, that are profiting off sharing this guy's video, who was killed about 100 feet from his wife and his 2 kids that are under the age of 5. And I find that despicable, and I won't take part in it. And we also just don't do gore porn. We don't show anybody getting killed on this show. It's not so. I'm not interested in it. It's not what I'm here to do. What I will show you is a video that I saw 5 minutes before we went live. It's a little montage. It's a minute long. And I hope it radicalizes you the way it radicalized me, because my tone changed the second I saw this video. I was planning to come on here with a different tone and try to do more of my, should we call it limp-dicked bullshit? But then I saw this video, and shortly after I saw red. And I'm going to make you all watch it, because you should feel what so many of us are feeling right now, if you're not already, which is rage. Go ahead.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. His grace uncrowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
All right, that's enough. Infuriated me, and I wanted you all to see it, because I think it's important that we understand that this was, throw politics aside. You shouldn't even have to do that. There was a time where we didn't have to do that. There was a time where politicians would get shot, and regardless of what your political affiliation was, you agreed that it was horrific. But those days are evidently long gone. We have allowed literal demons from hell to infiltrate our country, and we have to run them out. We have to run them out. And unfortunately, when the wolves are at the door, people will naturally turn to some folks that maybe aren't the best, the most upstanding individuals. Because those are the people that'll fight the wolves off. And it's concerning where it goes after that. But sometimes it's necessary to deal with some people who we don't always share opinions with, who we don't like, if it means they can get the greater evil out of the way. Andrew Tate tweeted this after that video went out. Pull his tweet up there. Yeah, the Andrew Tate one. He said, "Listen to me. The compassionate, nice guys want you dead, and they'll do it or encourage others to do it via the media. I get 1,000 death threats from these people a day. We are at war." That's what he tweeted after that compilation of Charlie Kirk and his kids went out. And he's 100% right. And you all know I don't like Andrew Tate. You know I'm not a fan of a lot of the things he's pushed, a lot of the ideas, A lot of the concepts on young men, I think, are not positive for a sustainable society. However, what I will say is if the Republican Party is at a crossroads, and if our choice is going to be we either become the party of Andrew Tate or we remain the party of people who sit idly by while we get killed by lunatics, and I'm not encouraging violence, but I am encouraging political action that would strip these people of their rights, I'll take Andrew Tate all day. That's a no-brainer. Give me Tate. I'll get a top G tattoo if that's my choice. And that's what they've done. The party of Ronald Reagan and Abe Lincoln is officially over. The party of Andrew Tate and all these other bad guys, that's what's here now. And they've done this to themselves, and they don't even realize it. These idiots celebrating it, these idiots that are celebrating it, don't even realize what they did. Charlie Kirk was not the far-right extremist. You don't even know what a far-right extremist is, but you're going to find out, something tells me. Charlie Kirk was the moderate option, you fucking morons. Charlie Kirk was one of the last people who was actually willing to sit down across from you freaks and have a conversation with you. And you killed him. Do you know what message that sends? That sends the message that anyone who wants to sit down and talk to the left is going to get killed. So you better dig your heels in and stick to your own group. And then this little thing, if you've ever studied sociology, happens called group polarization, where the groups tend to gravitate toward the more extreme points of view, of even if the view is shared by less members. You know, somebody like, an Andrew Tate. You did it to yourself. I told you guys in 2022, there was a guy named Doug Mastriano that was running for governor of Pennsylvania. And I said, and he was way too far right, even for me. I wouldn't have voted for this guy if he was running in my state. I would have voted libertarian or whatever. I wouldn't have voted for the Democrat, but I wouldn't have voted for him. I told you, if the left keeps pushing, you are going to see a Christian nationalist like this Doug Mastriano guy rise to prominent power in the United States. And I think this may be the black swan moment. I told you that. All Charlie Kirk did was invite people to have a conversation and a debate, and they couldn't take it. They killed him for having debates. That's the extent of what he did. He didn't go to abortion clinics and scream at women that they were whores who were going to hell in one of the worst moments of their lives. He wasn't some activist that went around and terrorized people or anything like that. He went to college campuses, set up a camera and lights, and debated people one-on-one politely. And they killed him for that. They're incapable of reason. If I'm in a bar and there's a guy who thinks I touched his woman and I've never seen his woman before, but he's just wasted and he's accusing me of touching his woman and he wants to fight me. He wants to kick my ass and I'm trying to reason with him, but he's too drunk and he's not having it. That's someone who's incapable of reason. I have two choices. I can leave the bar, or I can have that guy removed from the bar. Either I do it myself or I have the bouncer do it. Tell you what, I'm not leaving this bar. Drink up. These people aren't interested in debate. They don't care about the exchange of ideas. Their ideas are the right one, and yours are wrong. And if you disagree, they'll kill you for it. You deserve to die for having those ideas. All Charlie Kirk did was debate people. All those kids do was sit in a church. And they killed him for it because they hate you. A friend of mine sent me this. There's a quote from George R.R. Martin, author of Game of Thrones. When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You are only telling the world that you fear what he might say. Pretty spot on, if you ask me. I don't think I could say that any better myself. That's what this is about. It wasn't that they thought Charlie Kirk was a dangerous threat to democracy. It's that they couldn't beat him. Leftists can't win with ideologies. They can't put their ideas up against yours, go toe-to-toe and win, so they resort to violence. It's bullshit guerrilla violence like this. They'll never meet you and fight face-to-face because they're a bunch of pussies. They're either morbidly obese or frail, weak little bitch boys. But that's what they resort to. They understood they were losing the culture war, and they can't just get people deplatformed and have sponsors taken away or call you and take your job from you. So they resorted to murder now. This is the beginning. This is not the end of anything. This is what starts with the influencers and the commentators and the politicians will inevitably make its way down to you. That's how cancel culture works. It's a trickle-down effect. People used to call, they'd sit around. There were leftist organizations. These people had no job, and these organizations would pay them, and I know this for a fact. And they sit around in a room with 30 burner phones, and it's 5 or 6 people, and they pick phones up, and they'd call the sponsors of conservative radio hosts and complain, "Oh, this guy said this on the air. How dare you sponsor him?" And they try to get the sponsors taken off air and take money out of their pocket. So the company would go, "Oh my God, 30 people called in the last 15 minutes. This must be horrible." In reality, it was the same 5 people who do it for a living. That's where the cancel culture started. Then that wasn't enough. Then they realized it wasn't, the good word is already spread. We can't just silence the mouthpieces for it. We have to silence the people who are espousing it, the people at the bottom of the pyramid that are hearing this and they're repeating it on Facebook and in conversations at bars and with family and friends. We have to scare these people into submission. So they started calling people's jobs if they had opinions they didn't like. Remember 2020? Remember summer of 2020 when you were afraid to have the wrong opinion because it could quite literally cost you your income? That's what they did. Well, now they've upped the ante. Now it's murdering people that they don't agree with. Right now it's famous people. Couple months it'll be you. Couple months, it's all it's going to take. Some leftist nut is going to dox somebody over a Facebook argument, drive to his house and shoot him. And then I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I don't know what happens after that, man. I'm scared of it. That terrifies me. Do you know where this all started, though? You know where this all started? Because I see a lot of people referencing Luigi Mangione, who shot that healthcare CEO last year. And that was a sign of decay, certainly. But it wasn't the start. No, none of you are going to guess. Mia, do you want to guess where this started? You have any idea? You don't know where this all started?
I do, but only because you told me.
Oh, I did spoil it for you, didn't I? This didn't start with Luigi Mangione. It certainly didn't start with Charlie Kirk. This started back in, 2021? Yeah, 2021. When Chris Rock went on stage at the Golden Globes. It was the Golden Globes, right? I'm not hip to my pop culture references. Chris Rock went on stage at the Golden Globes, and he told a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith looking like G.I. Jane because she had a shaved head. And Will Smith ran on stage and smacked him in the mouth for it. The reason it started there, and I called it, you can check my TikTok, was because about 20 to 30% of the country saw that and said, Chris Rock had it coming. Comedians have gotten away with far too much for far too long. And I said, this is a dangerous road we're headed down. This is a slippery slope. that a comedian telling jokes on stage, we're not talking about a jackass running his mouth to your wife at the bar. We're talking a comedian on stage making jokes about people in the audience that they knew were going to get joked about. And a third of the country felt that violence was an appropriate response to free speech. I said it when it happened. I was doing a show called Bread and Circuses. I said, this is going to end with people getting murdered for saying what's on their mind. This was the first domino, but it won't be the last. And everyone said, oh, you're overreacting. That's crazy. I really wish I was wrong. I really, really, really wish I was wrong. I do. It kind of is the Mangione effect, though. The problem was the difference with the Mangione effect is the same people that are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death were also celebrating when Luigi Mangione shot that healthcare CEO. The same people. But this one's even more ghoulish because the healthcare CEO was a father and a husband and all those things as well. But they used some mental gymnastics, and they said, well, this was actually self-defense because this guy ran a health insurance company, and they were denying people's claims and how many people of his have died because of his business practice. And I was like, that's like 5 steps away. We need to be real careful about justifying killing people because of their business practices. You know, if the car salesman sells me a lemon, I don't get to go shoot him. And they're like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. People need to die because they run an unethical business. Like, oh, okay, if you say so. Charlie Kirk didn't do any of that. You can't make that argument with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk went to colleges and debated people from a chair. He didn't even stand up. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't call you half the names that I call you. Didn't do any of that. And they killed him. And they're still justifying it. Because that's how quickly that insanity progresses. It goes from Chris Rock deserved to get slapped at the Golden Globes to that CEO deserved to get shot because he was, he ran a bad business, to Charlie Kirk deserved to get shot because he said things I don't like, to, like we saw a couple weeks ago, those kids in Minneapolis deserve to get shot because their parents were Catholics. The only thing that progressives actually progress is the rate at which they are willing to excuse violence. That's it. I mean, I can go on and on. I'm not even going to show you the videos these retards celebrating. There's no reason to. You get it. They're all over Twitter. Go on and look. Demons from hell celebrating someone's death. I'm not going to show you. There's no reason to. All we're going to do is make fun of these people, how they're freaks that are never going to find love and they're going to die alone and all that. We get it. They are. Yeah, they're losers. Basement-dwelling losers who aren't going to do shit. None of them.
Loser! You're a loser!
At least I once thought that. I don't know anymore. And this is the problem. Is because I was watching News Nation. Because I don't watch the news when this went down. Because I texted my mom when this happened. Because I think she knew who Charlie Kirk was, but she didn't really know. She's like, what's going on? And I'm like, Charlie Kirk pretty much hand-delivered Arizona to Donald Trump. I wasn't the biggest Charlie Kirk fan. None of that's relevant, by the way. If you're going to make a Facebook post saying rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, just say that. You don't need to go, well, I found his beliefs despicable. Blah. No. Why do we need to apologize preemptively for wishing condolences to a grieving family? That's just another sign of societal rot. But I was watching News Nation when the news came out because I texted my mom. I'm like, Charlie Kirk got shot. This is before we really knew anything. And I'm like, this is like the American version of Archduke Ferdinand getting clapped right before World War I. This is pretty serious. This is the biggest assassination in our lifetime since Martin Luther King Jr., if he's dead here. But I was watching News Nation, which I don't watch cable news, but if I do watch cable news, I turn on News Nation because it's the only one that's really down the middle. They're not going to give you a spin. Certainly not. I mean, I don't like Fox. I don't like CNN. I don't like any of that, right? So I turned on News Nation, and there were two things that really stood out to me. The first thing that stood out to me the most, that made me want to throw up in my mouth, is they were interviewing someone that was there when it happened. And they said, you know, what did you notice when everything was around you? It was obviously chaos or whatever. And the kid said, the thing that stuck out to me the most, the kid said, when Charlie Kirk got shot, a group of students stood up and cheered. They got up and applauded it in real time, like their favorite football team had just scored. A guy got shot in the fucking throat. Demons from hell. This isn't mental illness. This isn't something that we can legislate away. This isn't something that we're just going to give these people pills and a therapy and take away their phones and everything's going to go away. There's a percentage of these people that have been possessed by something beyond our comprehension, beyond this realm, beyond this dimension, that there's nothing we can do here to take care of them, so we must make them leave our country. We have to make life so uncomfortable. I'm not advocating we kill anybody. I want to make that clear. No violence, no concentration camps, none of that. But we need to make life so difficult for these people that they voluntarily check out. I don't want to live next to fucking demons, bro. What they need to do, whoever those kids were that stood up and cheered, they need to figure out who every last one of them was, and the FBI needs to tear their lives apart. I want you to throw so many bogus charges at them, so many investigations, that you bankrupt their parents. They have to move and sell their house because their dumbass kids fucking ruined them. And then the parents cut the kids off, and the kids live on the street, and they overdose on fentanyl because that's the best thing that could fucking happen to them. I scared the dog there. He agreed, though. The other thing I noticed from News Nation, again, moderate down the middle side, is the host on it said, when will the left admit that their side has a problem with political violence? It's not a conservative problem. You don't see conservatives doing this, and we shouldn't. We should absolutely defend ourselves, but we shouldn't do this. They said, when will the left admit my side has a problem? And you want the short answer to that is they won't. They won't. They will never do that. They will never do that. Never in a million years will they admit that their side has a problem. They might ask people to turn the temperature down, and Barack Obama comes out, political violence is never okay. That really doesn't mean anything. If you come out and say political violence is never the answer and we need to turn the temperature down, and then the next day you're telling everyone that their neighbor is a Nazi because he voted different than them. The president's going to massacre all of you because you look a certain way, when you know that's not true. I thought the cat was going to be out of the bag when Trump got shot, that these people were lying to their base. When they spend months calling the guy Hitler, and then they come out and they go, oh, our prayers for Hitler. We hope Hitler's okay. If Hitler got shot, you wouldn't pray for Hitler. So it was a lie. And their base is still so stupid, they continue to buy it hook, line, and sinker. They're not going to turn the temperature down. They'll blame us. They've gone out and blamed Charlie Kirk, said that his rhetoric got him shot. Moments after they announced he was dead, they went on MSNBC. Play the third MSNBC clip there. Look at this fucking ghoul, what he has to say. Bro, if this guy were in this room right here on the show, I'd probably jack him in the mouth if he said this.
Then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt,
and that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
Turning Point USA has confirmed that he was shot. And there are a number of
You can't have these opinions and not expect to get shot. That's literally what he said. That's what MSNBC. That's not your non-binary, unemployed 29-year-old cousin on Twitter. That's MSNBC, the mouth of Sauron, is saying that. We're done. We're done. We're going to spend the next 3 years. Here's how this is going to go. You're going to lose the primaries or the midterms. You're cooked in the midterms because you martyred Charlie Kirk and you demonstrated to the moderate and independent voters how unhinged you are, not just by shooting him, but by your reaction to him being shot. You're cooked in the midterms. We're going to keep the Senate and the House now. We don't even need to gerrymander it. It's over for you. Do you understand that? So that's what's going to happen. We're going to maintain a majority in the Senate. We're going to maintain a majority in the House. And we are going to spend the next 3 years politically steamrolling you, dominating you, demoralizing you to the point you pack a bag and leave the fucking country for good. We're going to rig the system to ensure that you demons never gain power again. And I don't feel bad about it. Because now, yeah, we're just punching back. When Biden was rigging the system against Trump, saying, oh, he's a threat to our democracy, we have to prevent... No, you're a threat to humanity. And we're going to cheat to make sure you don't get it back. You don't get the ring back. We're not throwing the ring into Mount Doom. I said we should have done that, and then you started killing people. We're not throwing the ring into Mount Doom, bro. We're keeping it. And we are going to make you politically bite the fucking curb. Politically. Could have got him so many times with that.
I'm hesitant to keep using them.
Do it. Come on. We got to lighten the mood here.
I know, but I just... Hold on.
Politically.
It's just... I don't know. I feel like it's not the right mood to use them. So
Someone's got to lighten it. People come to us for fun. I'm ranting. I may have to do an extra show on Sunday just to lift everybody's moods because this is depressing, but it's serious and it's a conversation that needs to be had. It's been bubbling for a long time, and it's just finally time to let loose the dogs of war. We have to stop trying to befriend the people who hate us. We have to stop. They're nuts. And they'll turn around and they'll blame us. They'll blame conservatives. So if your rhetoric, people like Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, didn't just turn the temperature up in this country, nobody would have shot him, blah, 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 blah. It's not the case. That's not the case. There's nasty talk on both sides. There always has been. Political violence, though, is exclusive to one side. Only one side has taken a shot at a president in my lifetime. Not once, but twice. Only one side perks up on a roof and shoots a guy that's having a debate with a college kid from 200 yards away. Only one side walks into a school full of kids and kills them as they're praying. And it ain't the right. The reality is 100% of the political violence in this country, because they'll always point to January 6th. And you know what? There were idiots on January 6th, and those people should have went to jail, and they did go to jail. Not everybody at January 6th, but there were people that stole shit and punched cops and broke the law, and they should have went to jail. Absolutely, they should have. But since January 6th, 100% of the politically motivated violence in this country has come from the left. 100% of it. Whether it's masked Antifa losers hitting people with bike chains or Charlie Kirk getting clapped at Utah State. It's all on one side. You call us all kinds of names: fascists, Nazis, Hitler, genocidal. You say our existence is a threat to the foundation of this country, that we're going to put you in camps and kill you. We never once said we were going to do any of that. You made that up, and you told your mentally ill base that, knowing it wasn't true, because you were hoping that they were going to do this. And then when said mentally ill base gets violent and does kill somebody, you call it self-defense. You say that we provoked it by our actions, or we just flat out deserved it, because how dare we have those opinions, like that jackass on MSNBC said. Victim shaming, I think, is what they call it. That's what the feminists taught me, at least. That's what I told Mia it was when we sit there and she talks about how the girls on SVU shouldn't have been wearing that. I don't watch SVU anymore. It's too annoying. But that's it. They've equated words with violence. Words are violence. And words against you are a violent attack. And a violent attack must be met with an equally violent response to defend yourself adequately. So once you convince an entire group of people, a third of the population, that words are violence, it doesn't take much to get them to make the next logical jump, which is that those violent words must be defended from with actual physical violence. They have put on a masterclass, they being the left, the Democratic Party establishment, in dehumanizing us. If you look at the way that some of these people talk, whether it's on social media or at their campaign rallies or anonymous comments on Reddit, and you replace the word Republican or conservative with Jew, you would think it was out of Mein Kampf. I'm not comparing being a Republican to being a Jew in the 40s like What's-Her-Face from Mandalorian did. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the rhetoric is the same. They've taken notes from the dehumanization propaganda in Nazi Germany and applied it to us, and it was always going to end with us getting killed. This was always going to be how this happened, so long as they equated words with violence and said terrorism was justifiable as long as you agreed with the cause. You had a Jewish couple outside of the embassy in Washington, D.C. a couple of months ago. Gets killed by a river to the sea, pronouns for Palestine protester. And the same third of the country that applauded this said, well, now at least you understand what the Palestinians have to deal with every day. Random Jew couple gets killed. And instead of saying, oh my God, that's tragic, what kind of lunatic would just kill random people because of their religion, the tolerant left turns around and goes, well, now they know how the Palestinians feel. Yet, despite all of this, despite the dehumanizing rhetoric, despite attacking our children as they pray and learn, despite trying to kill our president, we have never once shot any of you. Any of you. The rhetoric is two ways, but the violence is only one way. Why? Why? I want someone to tell me why. And don't even point to that whack job in Minnesota. Tampon Tim's appointee. You're going to tell me that guy was a conservative? Found all this proof that he was a Democrat. He'd been a Democrat his whole life. Then all of a sudden, he's a multimillionaire businessman. Then all of a sudden, he has a roommate at Domino's, or a roommate who works at Domino's in a studio apartment. Comes out, oh, he was a big MAGA guy and just can't keep out of the camera. That went away real quick, didn't it? And the people he shot were moderate Democrats that had voted against something that Tim Walz had asked them to vote for. And then we find out in his manifesto that he thinks Tim Walz wants him to kill a senator so that Tim Walz can get that job. Well, sus. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Here's the question. Because let me tell you, these people don't actually want a civil war. They might think they want a civil war. They don't want what comes with civil war. Because what have they done? What's been their violent act so far? They've shot a couple people from hundreds of yards away, and they've killed a bunch of kids. Wouldn't exactly call that tough guy material there. The people who claim to want violence are not ready for the people who are actually good at violence to answer that call. Believe me, you don't want civil war. Leave the country. You are outnumbered. If you try to continue to escalate it, I'm warning you. I don't want this to happen, but it's only going to be a matter of time until people have had it with your bullshit and they wipe you off the face of the map. Leave the country if you can't coexist with us, because we're not going anywhere. And if this gets bloody, it doesn't end well for you. I am asking you, as a Christian, out of love, because I don't want to see anything bad happen to you, genuinely. I don't want to see liberals get killed. None of them. If you cannot coexist with us, leave. The same thing to the drunk guy at the bar that's trying to start shit with you barking up the wrong tree. If you can't stay in the bar with me and be peaceful, you gotta go. Because the alternative is I'm going to slam your head into the bar stool and then beat you unconscious. You have to go. You do not want that smoke. What did legendary prophet and Detroit rapper Royce the 5'9" say? You open up the can of worms, I hope you're ready for the dirt that's with it. There is so much dirt in this can of worms, it will bury you and your next 6 generations if you even try to pop it open. Because at this point, even the independents are done with you. I've got people texting me saying, I'm a moderate Republican. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm done. This is a spiritual war. You're right. Because that's the big question. And I'm posing this to my audience. Drop a comment on YouTube and Rumble. Go to the That Space with Caleb Salvatore Facebook page. Let us know there. How do we as a country put this cat back in the bag? Because I told you when Trump got shot at, I said, boy, are we lucky that they missed. Not just because we don't want Trump to die, but because if they did, there's no taking that back. There's no taking that back. It's like a wife telling her husband that, she settled for him and wishes that she would have married her ex-boyfriend from high school in the middle of a heated argument. Maybe you meant it, maybe you didn't, but it doesn't matter now because it's been said, and that marriage is tarnished forever. Even if you stay together, it will always be strained from that point on. There's no going back from what you said. There'd be no going back from them shooting Trump. And I said, boy, are we lucky as a country, for the soul of this country, that they missed that. Because there would have been no going back. They got a do-over. The wife almost said it, but she held her breath. Didn't say it, now her marriage has a second chance. Well, she said it today. She said it this week. There's no going back. Charlie Kirk is not as big as the president, but politically on the right, you don't get much bigger. You could probably count on one hand the people in America on the right with more influence than Charlie Kirk. I'm trying to, obviously Donald Trump, JD Vance, me. I mean, honestly, Trump and Vance. I'm drawing a blank at anyone else on the right with more influence. I don't think you could name 5 people. You could make the argument. I don't even know. But here's the thing. Trump and Vance are still going to have the most influence on the right. Shapiro's probably up there, Glenn Beck, people like that, but those guys are going away because the new top 5 is going to be Trump. It's going to be Vance. It's going to be Alex Jones. It's going to be Nick Fuentes, Milo, Andrew Tate. Those are the new faces of the right, and they did this to themselves. They've radicalized. Charlie Kirk was specifically popular among young Gen Z and millennial conservative men who are already making a hard pivot to the right, who are already becoming more hardline Catholic and Orthodox Christians than we've ever seen in a generation that young. They were making a hard right turn on their own, and you just martyred their fucking leader. May God have mercy on your souls. Because I don't know if I like the direction that I almost guarantee you the Republican Party is going to take over the next 3 years, just from a personal, moral, principled perspective. But I totally understand it. And I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Sometimes we have to do things we're not uncomfortable with when it means self-preservation. If there's a guy who's stalking my wife and won't leave her alone, and I walk outside with a baseball bat and take his kneecap out, then kick him in the stomach 6 times, and tell him the next time you come back here, it's going to be a bullet. That didn't happen, by the way, before someone tries to turn me into the cops. That's not me being someone I like to be. But I also am a pragmatist, and I understand that sometimes we have to be people that we don't want to be temporarily. We don't want to be there too long, otherwise we lose ourselves. We just watched Mayor of Kingstown. What was Mike talking about? How he had to survive in prison. He had to become someone he didn't like. Sometimes that's what it has to be. I don't see another choice. I don't see another choice. We've tried to reason. We've tried to play nice. I don't see another choice but a hardline, far-right Christian nationalist government that runs the radical left out of town. And I wish it didn't have to be that way. Because they didn't just kill Charlie Kirk. They killed what was left of the moderate wing of the Republican Party with that bullet. It is scorched fucking earth from this point on, and it ain't just me. There's a whole bunch of people that share that sentiment. We'll never encourage violence. We'll never commit political violence unprovoked. Unprovoked. Don't come at us or you will catch it right back. But in terms of our dealings with you people, the gloves are off. This is war. Politically. Spiritually. This is war. Charlie Kirk, the organization he founded, was called Turning Point USA. But ironically, I think this may be the turning point for the USA. I don't see how we continue to make peace with evil. I mean, it's just like that. There was that stabbing in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's a girl who's a Ukrainian refugee, survived a war zone, couldn't survive the American public transportation system. You got a guy walks on, for those of you that haven't heard the story, the girl's coming home from work. I'm not going to show you this video either. Girl's coming home from work, sits on the bus, minding her own business. Guy walks on, stabs her in the fucking throat, kills her. It was a black guy. He said, I got that white bitch, and I'm not going to play the racial politics thing. That's not me. You want that? Go somewhere else. It's not me. I understand the frustration because I see the fatigue memes and all those things. I'm not playing the racial politics game because I understand that gives way to something that's probably not good for me and my family, because I'm in an interracial marriage, and I know those people aren't exactly fond of me. So I'm not even going to try to cater to that audience because I don't believe it, first off. But he stabs her and he kills her. Now, this guy believed that the government had put some type of chip in him that was sending him messages to kill her. from the CIA or something like that. Lunatic, right? And everyone's talking about mental health this and guys, we had mental health care for people like that. Once upon a time, we had mental health care for people like that. They were called insane asylums. And then a bunch of do-gooder liberals got together and said, this is cruel and unusual. It hurts their feelings. We can't do that. And we got rid of them in the 70s. And do you know what happened in the 80s? The biggest violent crime wave in the history of this country. Do you think that's a coincidence? And then in the 90s, we saw this rash of school shootings that never really went away. Because once upon a time, we used to take people who were threats to themselves and others and put them in these asylums. And admittedly, there were some, I call them human rights violations taking place that we probably could have used some reform on. But as we always do in this country, we overcorrected and we got rid of them altogether and decided that rather than locking people that stab little girls on buses away, we're just gonna let them out onto the streets. It's okay. This guy had been convicted of 14 other crimes. Don't you feel like if you've been convicted of 14 other crimes, maybe you just don't learn? Maybe we need to put you away. We have to go hard, not just against the demons that want to destroy the heart and soul of this country, against the criminal element of this country. We've got to stop babying people. Mental illness needs to stop being looked at as an excuse for why people commit crimes, and we need to begin to look at it as a reason to lock people away before they commit crimes. We have to get harsh on violent crime in this country. Overcorrection is necessary. We're at the point in this country, and I firmly believe this. You have all these issues with, if you shoplift for $500, you get a slap on the wrist and a fine that you're not going to pay. No. You shoplift for $500 or more at the store, not only are we going to put you in jail for 6 months, we're going to take a meat cleaver and chop one of your fucking fingers off. That's how we're going to handle this now. And you're going to walk around for the rest of your life with a little souvenir as to what happened when you shoplifted. We'll let you pick the finger. It's up to you. We'll give you the medical attention, but we're going to chop a finger off. If you walk into a liquor store and you stick a gun in a clerk's face, or you walk up to an old lady and you hold a knife to her throat and steal her purse, fuck your finger. You're going to do 5 years in jail, and we're going to cut your whole hand off. That's how we have to start dealing with criminals now. That's the only way. We start at these small crimes, and we actually ruin people's lives, leave them with permanent damage for this, and they'll stop doing it. And that'll have a ripple effect. Hey, man, my cousin Jeff shoplifted from Best Buy, and they chopped his pinky finger off. What am I going to put in my girlfriend's butthole now? I can't shoplift from Best Buy. I better go get a job and apply myself instead of being a dirtbag. We got to start cracking down on that shit. I'm tired of living amongst lawless criminals. I'm tired of everyone being terrified and having to mind their own business and cross the street when you see the mentally ill who shouldn't even be on the streets. They should be in an asylum where we can prevent them from hurting other people and actually maybe take care of them. Because this is the thing. As we talk about judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I agree with that. However, an important lesson that I plan to teach my children, that all of you should as well, is that while it's not right to judge people by race, sometimes you do need to judge a book by its cover. Sometimes if a guy, regardless if he's a white guy, black guy, Hispanic, whatever, if a guy carries himself like a criminal, or worse, like a crazy person, sometimes you do just need to cross the street and avoid him. If the guy's got tattoos all up and down his face, and he's got his hood popped, maybe you shouldn't talk to him. Maybe he's a nice guy, but statistically, he's probably not. Maybe that's what we should do. Because this thing where we try to sit around and sing Kumbaya fucking Ya with criminals and violent, crazy people clearly isn't working. When we talk about controlled demolition with the Marxists, talk about a controlled demolition, what better way to detonate the explosives for a controlled demolition of a country than what you're seeing in Europe right now. And Europe is always the testing grounds for the Marxist bullshit they want to push on America. It always is. Every time that's what happens. They test it out in Europe, just like they did with the trans kids. They're doing it with the migration and all that. They push it into Canada, and it trickles its way down into the U.S. And then by the time it's taken full effect in the U.S., we look over at Europe, and they're reversing the policies, going, oh, my God, this is a disaster. It didn't work. That's how the globalists play it. By the time the people regain control in Europe, it's taken full effect in the U.S., and we got another 5 to 10 years of it here. They know that Americans put up with less bullshit than Canadians and Europeans. That's why they test those things there first. They're testing the migrant crisis there first. You import people, or in our case, you just release them onto the streets when they're already here, who are violent and crazy into a country that directly conflict with the values of its native people. And then you make it illegal for people to defend themselves from those people. And then you make it illegal for people to even criticize those people. You're starting to see the second phase in liberal cities in America, where you've got these Soros prosecutors that we're not going to prosecute people that, like, there was a guy, I just saw the other day, raped a 4-year-old girl and gave her an STD and got 6 months probation. Probation. No. We should take that guy after a trial and shoot him in the back of the head. Any other solution to dealing with a criminal that rapes a 4-year-old girl and gives her an STD that doesn't involve putting a bullet in the back of his head is the wrong solution. It's not the solution of a sane and functioning society. So you let people off, you bring people in, you make it legal for them to commit crimes, and then make it illegal for people to defend themselves and their properties against them. That's what you're seeing in these left-wing cities, because you can't carry a gun. That criminal can walk. What's insane is a criminal in San Francisco can walk into a gas station, point a gun at the clerk's head, and rob him, and get let out on parole. But if I go into San Francisco carrying my concealed carry weapon, I have no criminal background other than like a parking ticket and some tolls I told the state of Kansas to fuck off on, but I have no real criminal record. If I walk into San Francisco with my legal firearm on my hip with no intention to commit a crime, and a cop stops me and goes, I smell weed, I want to look in your car, even though I don't smoke weed, but goes, I smell weed, and searches my car and finds that gun, they will put me in jail for 5 years, guaranteed, in San Francisco. Guaranteed they will lock me away. I did nothing wrong. I carried a gun to defend myself that I never flashed and never showed to anybody. I will go to jail. But the guy who robbed the guy could steal that gun off me, go in and rob a gas station, he'll get parole. They value criminals over you. It's not because they think criminals contribute to society more. In fact, they know it's the opposite. They want the people who don't contribute to society out and about, mulling about, causing chaos, because they want to destroy society. They want to destroy society so that they can rebuild it. Just like Mao did in the Cultural Revolution. This isn't new. This is a playbook. A playbook that doesn't work. It's like trying to play 8-man football in the NFL. It doesn't work. But they're still trying it because they hate you. They hate you. It's got to be open season on criminals. That's the only way to do this. I keep seeing, we need a national conversation on mental health. No, the conversation's been had. Whenever someone says we need a national conversation, that's code word for we need to do things my way. I'm willing to speak to you as a formality, but if you're not willing to come to the table and give me everything I want, I don't care to hear from you. I want to steamroll and dominate you, which is what we're going to start doing to the leftists very soon. There's no national debate to be had. We're done. We had that. We tried it. You guys won. And this is where it's gotten us. It's gotten us, political violence and people getting stabbed on buses. So we're going to do things our way. We have tried to play patty cake with violent lunatics for years, and it doesn't work. So what we're going to do now, this is the national conversation. The conversation is a one-way conversation. You're going to sit here and listen to me, and you're not going to get a say in how we do things because you've gotten all the says in how we do things, and this is where we are. We're going to bring back insane asylums. We are going to lock people whose mental illness makes them a threat to society away from the rest of us. And then we're going to declare open season on violent criminals. That guy who's going to get his hand chopped off, that goes up and sticks a knife in an old lady's throat, if you witness that, or if you're that old lady and you pop 3 rounds in his back as he walks away, you get a $500 gift card to Amazon. That's how we're going to play this now. War. War. War with the demons. War with the criminals. No more being trampled on. That's how the law should be rewritten. If I were president, dictator for a day, that's what I would do. Not encouraging you to do it right now because it's illegal.
You have all the little old ladies out there trying to fight crime just to get that Amazon.
Oh, they'd be
gift
packing some
card.
heat. Or you know what? Or wherever you want. Where do old ladies like to shop? Dillard's? We'll give you a $500 Dillard's gift card if you pop a mugger in the back.
Department store of your choice.
Yep. The overcorrection has to happen. Hopefully we can get it back to a good middle ground when it's done, but temporarily, this is shock fucking therapy. The doctor told you for years, stop smoking cigarettes, start exercising, start eating better. You didn't listen to him. You could have changed your diet habits and lived a moderated, happy, and healthy life, but you didn't. Now you've got 99% blockage and you had a widowmaker heart attack. They had to go in and do shock therapy, open heart surgery. It's not fun. It's risky. It sucks. It hurts. It's not fair, but it happened because you didn't listen to the doctor. That's what has to happen to this country. Radical change. We have to we have to swing for full-blown Christian nationalism, knowing we won't get there. But if we get 3/4 of the way there, we'll at least have a fighting chance to reset this country back to the middle, because it's gone so far to the left and so far to the lunacy and so far to the criminals and so far to the Marxists and so far to the satanic fucking cult member demons and the wrong direction that we have to swing for the radical right just to land in the middle. That's how far back we are in this country. We're not going to hug our way out of this, guys. We got to dig our heels in and be prepared to eat shit for a little bit. I'm done protecting the feelings of people who hate me. I'm done playing nice with the people who want to kill me. We're done. I'm not playing this game no more, man. My kids aren't growing up in this crap. I'll tell you that right now. They're not growing up in a world where this stuff's going to happen, where this is going to be the norm. We're fighting back, we're pushing back, and it ain't even for me at this point. This is war for my bloodline, politically, not physically, because we don't encourage violence. I'm being serious when I say that. That's not me doing a wink, wink, nod, nod. If I find out one of you fucking idiots goes out and commits violence because of something you heard on the show and I've told you 100 times not to do it, you better hope the cops get to you first, because I will show up and I will beat you within an inch of your life and then hand you over to the cops. I'm not doing that. We don't believe in political violence on this show, but we are going to start treating our enemies like dirt. We're not going to talk nice to them. We're going to find ways to circumvent the system to legally, politically dominate them. That's been our show. I don't know. I don't want to do a show. I want to watch the Bud Crawford fight and go to sleep. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Stay based.